so passionate about dyslexia is because of being a dyslexic person myself. I feel like I really understand that we have a responsibility to change the narrative.
Princess Beatrice has always been different from the traditional image of royalty, but never before has she faced the kind of scrutiny and emotional strain that would come with her father's scandal. In an emotional and shocking revelation, she broke down while speaking about Prince Andrew, her father, a man once considered the Queen's favorite son, now disgraced in one of the most infamous scandals to ever touch the British monarchy. Her words left even those closest to her stunned, as the confession revealed a heartbreaking reality far worse than many imagined. But how did Beatrice, a royal who spent years carefully balancing her identity as both a princess and a private citizen, become the voice of a family tragedy that could no longer be hidden? From the moment she was born in 1988, Beatrice of York carried with her the heavy expectations of royal life. As the eldest daughter of Prince Andrew and seventh in line to the throne, she grew up in a world where every move was documented and every choice scrutinized. Unlike many of her relatives, though, Beatrice showed an early determination to carve out her own path. Instead of being sent exclusively to elite boarding schools, she studied at St. George's School in Ascot and later graduated from Goldsmiths University of London with a degree in history. She experimented with careers far from palace walls, interning at Sony Pictures, working in finance, and contributing to corporate development projects. For Beatrice, professional identity mattered just as much as her royal title, and perhaps even more so. When she moved to New York, Beatrice could have embraced the glamorous lifestyle of an international royal celebrity. Instead, she chose to live quietly under the name Beatrice York, blending into the bustling city with little fanfare. She built friendships outside the insular royal world, pursued work, and nurtured a sense of independence that few royals ever experience. Even her charitable commitments reflected her personal passions rather than traditional royal duties. Dyslexia awareness, education reform, and mental health became her chosen causes, all of which she approached not as staged photo opportunities, but with genuine involvement, often sharing her own experiences with dyslexia. Her personal life followed the same pattern of deliberate privacy. When she began her relationship with property developer Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi, she managed to keep it largely hidden from the public eye, an impressive feat for someone born into royalty. Their 2020 wedding was a quiet, intimate ceremony held during the pandemic, far from the globally broadcast spectacles that had defined royal unions for decades. Even the birth of their daughter in 2021 was marked with warmth but little drama. Beatrice had made it clear, her family life would be her own, not another spectacle for the tabloids. For many, this approach made Beatrice one of the most relatable royals. She represented a modern princess who was not afraid to work, to pay her own bills, and to live outside the bubble of privilege. In an institution often criticized for being out of touch, she symbolized a refreshing balance of tradition and independence. But that balance was fragile. No matter how carefully she walked her path, Beatrice could not escape the shadow of her father's controversies. And when the scandal surrounding her father erupted in 2019, the careful life she had built suddenly felt like it was crumbling beneath her. That year, American financier Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on charges of sex trafficking minors. His name dragged with it the network of high-profile associates, and among them was Prince Andrew. Initially, the royal family attempted to deflect attention, but Andrew's infamous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview changed everything. What was meant as an attempt at damage control became one of the greatest public relations disasters in royal history. His dismissive answers and bizarre claims, such as not being able to sweat due to a medical condition, turned public scorn into global outrage. Instead of protecting his reputation, the interview cemented his downfall. The scandal deepened in January 2022, when a U.S. court rejected Andrew's motion to dismiss the civil lawsuit brought against him by Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of serious misconduct while she was underage. The decision sent shockwaves through the monarchy. For a man long sheltered by privilege, it was proof that even royalty could not stand above the law. And for Beatrice, who had always tried to remain independent from royal drama, it was devastating. Every headline about her father reached into her private world. Every legal update chipped away at the carefully built walls that protected her family life. Silence became her strategy, but it was silence born of necessity. She knew that any public statement would be twisted, dissected, and used either to accuse her of blind loyalty or betrayal. If she defended her father, she would face outrage. If she distanced herself, she risked being branded disloyal. There was no safe ground left for her to stand on. But then came a moment that broke the silence. A letter, intended to be private, that leaked to the press and shocked the world. In that letter, Beatrice revealed the painful conflict she had been carrying. She admitted that the scandal had stolen her family name from her, transforming it from a badge of honor into a burden she carried like a weight. She wrote about the unbearable tension of being loyal to her father while also acknowledging the suffering of his accusers. She confessed her fear that his actions had not only destroyed his own reputation, but would permanently stain her life and even her daughter's future. But between her heartbreak and frustration, her words revealed loyalty, an unwillingness to abandon the man who had raised her, no matter how tarnished his legacy had become. The leak of that letter ignited a frenzy. Some called her words courageous, an honest glimpse into the personal cost of the scandal. Others saw it as betrayal, proof that even Andrew's daughter could not deny the damage. But what was undeniable was that Beatrice had finally broken her silence, and in doing so, she pulled back the curtain on the pain endured by those closest to the disgraced prince. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew himself faced consequences unlike any royal before him. In January 2022, Queen Elizabeth summoned her son to Windsor Castle, where he was stripped of his military titles, royal patronages, and the right to use His Royal Highness in any official capacity. The monarchy acted swiftly, not to protect Andrew, but to protect itself. For Beatrice and her sister, Eugenie, it was a brutal confirmation of an unwritten royal truth. The institution will always protect itself before it protects its members. The fallout reshaped the monarchy itself. With Andrew permanently sidelined, Charles's long-discussed plan for a slimmed-down monarchy accelerated. Working royals were reduced, the family's public image was tightly managed, and greater emphasis was placed on the direct line of succession. For Beatrice, this meant her role in public life was further diminished. The modern, independent princess who had once symbolized a bridge between tradition and normalcy now found herself carrying a surname that opened doors for judgment instead of opportunity. The scandal's damage was not confined to Andrew. It cast a long shadow across every family gathering, every Christmas at Sandringham, every summer at Balmoral. For the York family, there would always be the ghost of what had been lost: a father disgraced, a daughter forced to navigate loyalty and shame, and a family torn between love and duty. And so, when Beatrice's emotional confession surfaced, it became more than just another royal headline. It was a stark reminder that beneath the titles, jewels, and centuries-old traditions, royals are still human. They bleed, they break, and they carry burdens not of their own making. For Princess Beatrice, the cost of her father's choices may well define her legacy, just as much as her own efforts to redefine what it means to be a modern princess.